Well, before this review even starts, I'm just going to say this. You're either going to love this movie or you're going to hate this movie. But I can tell you one thing, and this is just my opinion. I want to see more movies from Neil Rowe. Hey guys, welcome to Happywax TV. So tonight we're talking about a movie called Alien Outbreak. I saw the trailer for it. I thought it looked pretty good, okay? And I sat down to watch it, and I really didn't know if I was going to like this movie or not. But I can tell you straight up, and this is just my opinion, you know I'll never lie to you, I did not hate this movie. Did I think it was great? No. But I'll tell you, I sat through it all, and I thought the idea was really cool. The ending of the movie, like the twist ending, which I don't want to give spoilers, but the twist ending at the end I thought was something cool. You know, we haven't really seen a lot of that or that idea, okay? I'll tell you right now, for an independent horror film, the special effects are fantastic, okay? The CGI is fantastic. Now, I mean, and I've said this before too, I'm guilty for saying this too. I mean, you can pull these effects off on your laptop using software. We all can, okay? But it's how you incorporate it into the movie and how realistic it looks. I mean, I've seen movies where it's fucking terrible, and I'm going to use the movie Cupid. the way they made that Cupid fly was comical. I mean, I could have done a better green screen on this laptop, and I'm not a fucking visual effects artist. You know what I mean? But Neil Rowe, who is the writer of this movie and the director, is a visual effects artist, and it shows because, I mean, I can't really knock his effects at all, his CGI. I mean, it looked fucking killer. You know, the big spaceships, these big, tall fucking alien creatures that come. Show me an independent horror film that has better special effects than this one. You know, yes, there was some cheese, but I mean, again, this is indie horror, and I thought he did a fairly fucking good job. Let me read the synopsis. A small rural community are under siege by an alien presence and mass suicide panic spreads. Can they be saved from extinction? So basically, in a nutshell, the movie revolves around these two police officers. I think this movie takes place in Ireland, but it revolves around two police officers. Catherine Drake plays Zoe Norris, and then Richie Crane plays Patrick. Basically, it's a simple synopsis. I mean, aliens come to Earth, you know, and these two cops have to go around. They collect. I mean, it starts off. The opening act is the aliens come down, and they start. We think, well, they do. They start injecting these people, okay, and it makes them want to kill themselves, or at least that's what they think that they want to do. And Zoe Norris goes to this house and gets attacked by one of the guys that gets injected by these aliens, okay? And then she escapes, and then, you know, that's pretty much the first act. I don't want to give too many spoilers for this movie, but the second act is them collecting a couple more of their friends in this old farmhouse where they try and hold out in, but doesn't work. So then they go back to this police station where there's medical supplies and, you know, more guns, and it's a little, you know, more safe to hang out. And that's kind of the second act, all right? And they hang out there, and that's what this movie does. I mean, you're in one location first act, you're in the police station in the second act, and then in the third act, I don't want to give too much away, but we end up at this farmer's house, and there's a pretty cool barn scene, and then we end up on train tracks with the end scene being, you know, taking place in this train. All the while, the threat of this alien presence gets bigger and bigger. I'll tell you, again, the special effects in this movie, I thought for an independent film, I'd love to know the budget on this movie, but I mean, I thought he did a killer job with these creatures. I mean, again, there's these robotic, I don't know if you'd call them like insect or spider type creatures that are drones that these taller, really cool looking alien guys send out, you know what I mean, to kind of warn the people, you know what I mean, and then they inject them in the neck. And again, we think when they get injected, or the closer these creatures get, human beings want to kill themselves. They go into this suicidal state, okay? But I'll tell you, again, the special effects, these creatures, and the first wave of these tall aliens, and then at the end of the movie, there's these, they got to be fucking 40, 50 feet tall. Like the aliens just keep getting taller and taller. And I mean, it was killer. There's one scene in the police station where the first wave of aliens come, and I'll be honest here, this is my personal life here. I've had nightmares, and for some reason, this stuff like this just freaks me out. But and the scene from It Follows, when they're in the bedroom and there's the banging on the door and they open up and that like 7'5" guy or 8-foot guy comes and he tries to get through the doorway. There's just something that always freaks me out about a person or a creature that's too tall for the doorway or the hallway, and yet it comes down and it's starting to chase people. If you can visualize that. And that's in this movie in the police station. And I thought, wow, this is great because I've actually dreamt of this shit. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I thought it was fantastic. Now, again, this isn't a perfect movie. And if I wanted to be an asshole and I thought the effort wasn't put in or if it was lazily made or directed, I mean, you could pick this movie apart, really, but I'm not going to because it's independent. The effort was definitely there. Yes, the dialogue, kind of gets a little bit longer than it should, and there is dialogue that kind of goes nowhere, and it does detract a little bit from the movie. It's only an hour and 24 minutes long, but they should have shaved about 10 minutes off just to kind of keep the pace going. There were some scenes in this film where it looks like they just added them in. And I've said this about a few movies, just so they can get closer to that 90-minute mark. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if like 90 minutes is like, what production companies look at when they go to market their movies. I'm not sure because, I don't know, I could have easily trimmed off 10 minutes out of this movie, but maybe they had to have a certain run time to get picked up by the production company. But now, the one thing that I didn't like about this movie, and I don't know, if anyone watches this who's involved in it, I'd like to know why, is the sound in this movie. Like, I have a pretty killer sound system here in my theater, in my house, where I watch a lot of my movies. But I don't know, the sound that these creatures make, if I was to pick a word, would be underwhelming. I don't know why. I mean, you've got these killer effects and these killer looking creatures. I mean, there's a scene where one of them jumps on the car. I mean, you've taken the effort to move the car and make the creaking sounds of the car and stuff like that. But it's just when these things are running or when they're jumping, you know what I mean? Like, it's underwhelming. You know what I mean? And even when the giant spaceships fly over top. Like, I was waiting for my subwoofers to go fucking bananas and they didn't. You know what I mean? So I don't know, maybe just the version I got, something was wrong with the sound. I don't know, but I mean, everything else sounded good. Like the gunfire and the dialogue was all up to the levels it should be. But I don't know, unless you were trying to make these creatures seem sort of stealthy when they came, because I was expecting, when they come running down the street and stuff, I was just expecting just a more intense noise. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Or when they're in the police station. I mean, I don't want to give a scene away, so I'm not going to say anything, but there's one scene where one of these alien creatures is yelling, and I mean, it was loud. You know what I mean? So I don't think it was the sound on my end, but I don't know. If I'm picking stuff apart in this movie, which I really don't want to do because, I mean, really, it doesn't deserve it. But yeah, I would say the dialogue and the sound that these creatures made was a little lackluster. But again, the effects were great. I mean, the story, I mean, you could say it's been done a bunch of times, which it has. I mean, it's an alien invasion movie, right? It's aliens come to Earth, they want to kill the humans, and they have to survive. And, the director picks out a group of individuals that are trying to survive, and we focus on them throughout the movie. That's what it is. So, but it's just how it's put forth. And, you know, this is an independent film. I don't think it had a massive budget, but I mean, he really killed it with the special effects. I thought these creatures looked fucking killer. And the ending had a little twist to it. So, and some of the location shots that he had too were really cool too. So the cinematography in this movie is pretty cool. There's some wide open landscape shots too that are pretty cool. I'd be curious to see what kind of lenses he used for those shots. So anyways, it's called Alien Outbreak. It's got a 3.3 on IMDb, but again, we don't trust the nonsense that they put on there. So for me, for a rating, I would probably give this a 5.5. Again, smidge too long, but definitely sit down and watch it and let me know what you thought of this one. And if you have seen it already, make sure you chime in. I'm curious to see what you guys say. And then again, too, if you see this review and you're involved in the movie at all, I'm kind of curious as to why you kept the noise of the aliens, you know, not necessarily the insecty creatures, but even the ships flying above. I don't know, they just seemed really quiet. So I don't know if you were trying to make them seem kind of stealthy or what. But yeah, I want to know. I just want to know why the sound editing was kind of lackluster when it came to these creatures. So anyways, didn't hate it. Thought it was okay. And again, I want to see more from Neil Rowe because I really like what he did with this movie. So anyways, Alien Outbreak. If you haven't seen it, go check it out and come back and let me know what you thought. And as always, guys, stay scared.